Hi, Archie. I decided to split our video from today into two parts because we read for so long. So here's part two, and this is where we will finish the story of the space mice. Enjoy. This is the super stellar contest. Dun, 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 dun. The great blob seemed to be on the brink of losing his patience, right? It looks like he's about to explode with anger, like, arr! Miserable mice, he says. Now you've really annoyed me, he thundered threateningly. That means he's like, I am so angry. I am so annoyed with you. You are making me so mad and frustrated. And he's raising his voice and yelling, so you could say thundering. And threateningly means that's when he wants to threaten them and say, I am so mad, I'm going to, da, 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 da. Right? That would be threateningly. My whiskers trembled with fear. Remember, Geronimo gets scared, Thea gets angry, but Trap stood his ground. Stood his ground means he did not back down, okay? He just stood there right to the great blob, and he didn't get scared. He didn't run away. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. He just stood his ground. He's showing that he's very brave. He might not have been brave on the inside. He might have been afraid on the inside, or nervous or angry or scared. But on the outside, what he's showing the blob is, you're nothing special. I'm not afraid of you. You're not impressive. Anyone can do that. So the great blob says to him, you impertinent mouse. That's not the word we had here. What did we have on this page? Oh, we did have, yeah, impertinent. It was the same. He says impertinent again. Impertinent is, you are very, very rude, right? You are not being polite to me. How dare you challenge me? The great blob said to Trap. Tell me, watch this. Tell me what shape you want me to take. Then you will see that there's nothing I can't imitate. Imitate means copy. Because I am the great blob. My fur stood on end. For a cat, we would say its hair stood on end. The great blob was really furious. Furious means very, very, very mad. How had I gotten into this mess? I never asked to become the captain of a spaceship. I never asked to go on a mission to an alien planet. I always wanted to be a quiet novelist. Novelist is an author who writes chapter books. Why, oh why, did my cousin have to continue to annoy this gigantic, scary blob of a creature? He's really nervous that Trap is making the great blob so angry. When you annoy someone, you make them angry. And so there's Trap. Meanwhile, there's that word meanwhile again. So at the same time that Geronimo is feeling so nervous, Trap calmly took a box of cheesy mints out of his pocket. He emptied all but one mint into his mouth and polished them off with one giant gulp. You've transformed yourself into things that are huge, but can you change into something as small as this piece of candy? Trap asked the great blob, showing him the tiny mint. The great blob seemed angrier than ever. Of course I can do that, he shouted. But can you fit all of yourself? And I mean every last drop of you in this box? Trap asked. I'm not sure you can. I don't believe it. I'm sure you can't do that. He's giving the great blob a challenge, and he's kind of taunting him. He's kind of saying, I bet you can't do that. You're not powerful enough. You're not good enough. You really can't do that much. You know, you're just bragging about stuff, you know, that's so big and so amazing, but you can't do it if someone else comes up with the idea. Well, the great blob threw his gooey mouth open and laughed. Ha, 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 he said. Is that it? That's such an easy challenge. In fact, that's the easiest challenge in the entire universe. And with that, he made himself smaller and smaller till he was the smallest we had seen him yet. Then he called back all the little pieces of goo that were on the mouse star 1 and made them so tiny that a moment later, he was just a minuscule, between super, super small, so tiny, pink dot. Finally, he squeezed himself into the box. See, I win, he said from inside the box. All of me, and I mean every last drop of me, is in here. Then, faster than a shooting star, Trap closed the box. Snap! Quick thinking, Thea took out a tube of super glue and glued the box shut, so the great blob could never, ever get out. We were saved because Trap was so smart and calm and clever. Wow. Here we can see, here's Trap saying to him, can you become as small as a tiny piece of candy? Look how big he is right here. Look at Trap's face. He's like, I'm not impressed. That's no big deal. And then he's there. You can see him holding the box. You can see the great blob getting smaller and smaller. And then, snap, you are trapped. That was super clever. You know, we are done with our class today, but we only have this one chapter left. Should we read it?
Okay.
Okay. Space mice for one, space mice for all. Hooray, we shouted together. We've defeated the great blob. We were preparing to return to the Mouse Star 1 when Professor Greenfur noticed something in the bottom of the lake where the great blob had been just minutes before. Look, the professor cried. He pointed to the empty lake. We could see a crack in the dry ground, and in the crack was a large deposit of tetrastellium. Professor Greenfur analyzed, that means he looked at it very carefully to find out what is it made of, okay? He analyzed it with his portable super detector. Portable means it's kind of like a computer he can take with him. Captain Stiltonics, I can confirm that this is tetrastellium and it's completely pure. Not 99%, but 100%. He finally concluded. I let out a sigh of relief and thanked my lucky stars. We would be able to save the Mouse Star 1 from destruction after all. Quick, to the spaceship, I cried. We flew back to the mouse. I said Mouse Star, I meant Mouse Star 1. Faster than the speed of light. Let's take a picture of the tetrastellium. Kind of cool, huh?
Yeah.
Taking a very precious and heavy load of tetrastellium with us. We had to move quickly. We had no idea how much longer the tetrastellar batteries would last. As soon as I got back to the control room, I gave Sally the tetrastellium and asked her to switch out the tetrastellar batteries. Then I thanked Trap for his quick thinking. That means he didn't have to spend all night coming up with a plan. He was able to come up with a plan quickly. Cousin, that was truly amazing, I told him. Thanks, he replied proudly. And now, how about we celebrate with an enormous, remember we should not have the E on the end, enormous cheese banquet. Banquet is a big feast. My cousin Trap never changes. But this time he was truly a hero, right? He saved us. It was thanks to him that we had managed to defeat the great blob. So we organized a big party for the whole crew. The crew is all the people that work on the spaceship. Grandfather William made an official speech. Thank you, Benjamin and Bugsy Wugsy. You behaved like true space heroes. You both deserve medals. And you, Sally, the idea to use superglue was brilliant. So smart. Then he turned to Thea. My dear Thea, your courage and intelligence saved the Mouse Star 1, he said. Courage means she's very brave, and intelligence, she's very smart. And then he goes over to Trap. Well done, grandson, he said, patting him on the back. Your candy trick was very impressive. You remind me of myself when I was young. He even had a compliment for Professor Greenfur. A scientist is indispensable. Indispensable means we just can't live without it. We really, really need it. A scientist is indispensable on a spaceship, and your expertise means the knowledge and skill you have that you are an expert at. Okay, that's something that you're really, you know more about this than other people. He said it's valued highly. Valued means it means a lot to us. We really appreciate it. He told the professor. Finally, he turned to me. Grandson, I didn't think you had it in you, he said. You really came through this time. What he's saying here with I didn't think you had it in you, he's talking about the character to be a leader, like whatever Geronimo would need inside him, whatever character trait, like bravery, leadership, courage, calmness, good thinking, the skills that a good leader needs to have. Grandfather really didn't think that Geronimo had those skills, but now that he saw how Geronimo did, and he says, you really came through, that means you do have those skills. When he says you really came through, you showed us that you have those skills. We toasted one another. That's when everyone holds up their glass and they clink glasses. So this person's glass, they might hold up their glass here. I only have one. And someone else has a glass and you go ding. That's toasting. We toasted one another with Cook Squizzy's famous, remember we should not have an E on the end of that, should just say famous, cheddar shakes with chocolate space sprinkles as we recited. Recited means we said it from memory, something we had memorized and learned in our head, and we did not have to read it. We recited the creed of the Spacemice. That's what they believe. I, of course, couldn't wait to return to my cabin so that I could finally start writing my very first book. I decided to write all about this adventure. I hope you enjoyed reading it. Until next time, my dear mouse friends, I am Geronimo Stiltonix, captain of the Mouse Star 1. I want us to take a look at what the creed of the Spacemice is. It's going to be a poem, I think. And so we'll notice some rhyming at the end of each line. He says, "We are the space mice, gentle and sure. Our missions are good and our hearts are pure." So
Sure and pure.
I want you,
Sure and
yeah,
pure.
I want you to notice that this poem, oops, that's not a good 3. There's 4 lines. This right here is called a stanza. And there's 4 lines in it. And the end of line 2 and 4 are going to rhyme. So we're going to have sure and pure. So you can check in the other stanzas if the last word in lines 2 and 4 are the rhyming ones. Okay. Then he says, "Intergalactic adventure is the name of our game. We'll come to the rescue, and it's not for the fame." Do you see it?
Yes, game frame.
Yep. Okay, 3rd stanza. "Our spaceship flies through the universe with ease. Friendship to us is more precious than cheese."
Is cheese.
Yep. Okay, the last stanza. "The Cheddar Galaxy is our cosmic home. With space mice for friends, you're never alone."
Home alone.
Yeah, those 2 don't rhyme very well, but a little bit. So that's the creed of the space mice. Here we can see what they all look like. This is the whole crew, right? They're listening to the speech given by grandfather saying, "I'm so proud of you." There's hologramics and trap and robotics, Bugsy Wugsy. Who else do we have here? We've got Thea, Geronimo, Professor Greenfur, Sally. But I don't know who this person is. Was he in this story?
No.
Maybe he's in some of the other Space Mice stories. This is taking a look at the spaceship. And it's telling us where everything is. So what you do is you find like number 1 and it says control room. So this is a control room. This is a telescope. These are greenhouses to grow plants. This is a library and reading room. This is their, oh my goodness, this is an amusement park. Look at that right in here. They've got a Ferris wheel and a roller coaster. What's number 6? This is number 6 is the cafe, the Space Yum Cafe and the kitchen. Oh, the lift tricks. That's this right here. That's the lift tricks. The computer room is right here. The crew cabins, the bedrooms, that's in here. A theater for space shows, that's here. Wow, they've got a theater in there, huh? Warp speed engines, that's right down here. A tennis court and a swimming pool, that's number 13, look at that, a tennis court and a swimming pool. This is a pretty cool spaceship. They have a multi-purpose techno gym. That is right here, number 14. You can see the treadmill maybe and the punching bag. Okay, what else? Space pods for exploration, that's right here. The cargo hold for food. I think this is where the pantry is maybe. No, not the pantry. The pantry would be up near the kitchen. The pantry would be up in this area, I think. Let's see, and then the natural biosphere. Oh my goodness, look at that down here. That looks like the ocean and the trees and the mountains. That's kind of an interesting. So that's what the spaceship looks like. Pretty fancy, huh? And when you look at it from the outside, it looks like a big piece of cheese. That's looking at it from the outside. Very interesting. Here it says, Meet Geronimo Stiltonix. He is a space mouse, the Geronimo Stilton of a parallel universe. He is captain of the spaceship Mouse Star 1. While flying through the cosmos, that's through space, he visits distant planets and meets crazy aliens. His adventures are out of this world. And here, this was the cook in this one. Alien Escape is the one we just read. On the back of the book, it said, Geronimo Stiltonix's spaceship is in danger of exploding. The only solution is to replace the engine's batteries by tracking down a rare element, right? That's the tetrastellium. When a group of mysterious aliens claim they can help, Geronimo is relieved. He's like, phew. But are the aliens as friendly as they seem? Remember what they said? They said, we don't want money. We just want to be your friends. He says, dear mouse friends, thanks for reading and goodbye until the next book. See you in outer space. And then this one will be book 2. Says, you're mine, Captain. There's a whole series of these Spacemice books. See, there's even 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like there's 12 Spacemice books. All right, well, that is where we're going to stop. We kind of went really long today, so let me hit stop share. And I'm going to say,
So long, Teacher Chip.
bye, Archie.